It's only game 4, and I got a problem. I'm already running out of words to describe just how absurd North Carolina's front court is.
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? Happy Friday, November 14th, or if you're on the East Coast, I guess it's already the 15th. Happy Saturday to all of you. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network there is. Thanks for making us your first listener watch every single day. And for those of you that are watching and it's already Saturday, quite literally, it's 33 minutes into the day. You're welcome. Special shout out to all the everydayers who are here with us, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord and our insiders as well. It's great to be together. I apologize for having to wait a little bit delayed after the game before going live for our postcast, everyone. But you know, sometimes some of the other responsibilities I have just make it that way. Thanks for being with me here even late. It's great to be together. Carolina knocks off NC Central 97-53. Tar Heels are now 4-0 on the young season. At KenPom, they slide back up just a little bit to 23rd. Their offense is 24th in the nation. Their defense is 28th. We always say it's either a therapy session or a party. Tonight, it is a party indeed. Not only because the Tar Heels won this basketball game, but also because Maximo Adams on Friday afternoon became the first Tar Heel commit in the class of 2026. And you guys, listen to me loud and clear. Watch my lips if you're watching on YouTube. This dude is nice with it. He is flying up the recruiting rankings. He is a stretch. I guess I don't have to say stretch because he's a wing by almost, well, I guess there are, whatever. He's awesome. He does a little bit of everything. He will be able to help right away next season when he steps on the court in Chapel Hill. Very, very excited about Adams. Obviously, Dylan Mingo on campus this wingo. Sure, why not? This weekend, he was at the game on Friday night. Great stuff. On the live postcast, here's what we do. We got just a bunch of takeaways, some big picture, some nitty gritty to this game, some looking ahead, all of that kind of stuff. We'll get to your comments. I know it's late for those of you who are watching in real time, but I always like to take a few questions and observations as well, because that's part of the fun of going live, right? So before I even talk about that front court, the first thing I want to say, it is awesome how clearly locked in with one another this basketball team is. And look, yes, just the pure kumbaya of that is awesome, right? Like, it's just cool to be able to cheer for a team that really genuinely, honestly seems to like each other. But I tell you this too, in terms of success, that pays dividends on the court as well, because you want to play for one another. You want to hold each other accountable and all of that stuff. As Evan Smith was getting that bucket, as Evan Smith made that free throw, as John Holbrook made a free throw late, the just childish exuberance, if I can give it that phrase, of Caleb Wilson to be happy for his teammate, man, like that kind of stuff, don't take it for granted, because not every team has that. This team so clearly and evidently does, and it's incredible. Speaking of Caleb Wilson, this North Carolina Tar Heels front court is utterly ridiculous. You guys, I mean, I'm so pleased. I'm so happy. When you just remember the feelings of last year, never let that go. Because anytime you want to be like, oh, ho hum, Henri Veesaar, there he goes again. Oh, look at Caleb, another 8 million dunks. Never take that for granted, because this time last year, we were wallowing in the pits of front courtlessness, if I can make up a word. This is something special, man. And there was the possibility of it coming. I've said it a couple times now in the offseason. I said, if Henri Veesaar is who we think he is, if Caleb Wilson is who we think he is, and if they can play together the way we think they can, this has a chance to be the ACC's best front court and one of the best front courts in the nation. 2 weeks in to the season, they've done nothing but live up to that, including tonight, where Caleb Wilson was a rebound short of a first half double-double. And remember, his last game was his first kind of like floor game, and that was his first career double-double. Well, this tonight was his first career 2010 double-double. Caleb finishes with 21 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 block shots, just 1 turnover in 29 minutes. And that's the other thing. This is a game where Caleb didn't have to do more than that. He had 17 at the half, and just like in the second half, how much did he even actually play? 10 minutes in the second half, and just letting other guys do it. He didn't need to. And not that he wasn't being aggressive. It's just like, let's give other guys the opportunity to get minutes and to do stuff. So phenomenal from him. Henri Veesaar joined him in a front court double-double party. It's insane. Veesaar, 12 points, 11 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 5 blocks in 24 minutes. So here we go again. And I haven't even said yet. You ready for the efficiency of these two dudes tonight? 11 of 13 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, and that was Wilson. Veesaar didn't take a 3. If I need to go back and look, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Caleb Wilson has taken exactly 1 3-pointer in every game thus far. And I think he's 2 for 4. What I just continue to love about that is that he is not settling for anything. I don't care if it's NC Central or Kansas. It doesn't matter. Caleb Wilson is in attack mode all game long. And when it makes sense for him to pull from the outside, sure, he will. Henri Veesaar didn't even attempt a 3 in this game. And that's great. He had like maybe 1 where he could have looked for it. But man, Carolina's ball movement around the perimeter tonight was snappy. It was great. And so the two of them combined to go 11 of 13 and combined to go 10 of 14 at the free throw line, 9 block shots between the two of them. I mean, yes, sure. I hear you on the opponent. It's NC Central, but still these guys continue to do it night in and night out. And that is something special that we should be grateful for and keep in mind this entire season. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Caleb had, let me get to my, my stat page here. 4 more dunks tonight, 2 oops, that step through transition where he had that vicious one-handed, oh my word. And then he had a baseline cut with a nice assist from Henri Veesaar. And that's the other thing you're getting from these guys, man, the high-low passes between them, the big to big. Zayden High had a nice look over the top. I forget which one. To James Brown, actually. It wasn't to Veesaar or Wilson. And so, man, just you see them sharing the ball in a big, big way. And speaking of big, big way, I've got 2 Batman statements for you. First, holy blocks. Secondly, holy assist percentage on the blocks. I mean, 9 of them we've already said from Caleb Wilson and Henri Veesaar. That in itself, 9 blocks, is an absurdity. But as a team, Jaron Stevenson had 2, Zayden High had 2, James Brown had 1. Carolina goes for 14 blocks in this game. I haven't done all my post-game stat work yet, but I believe I saw a stat in passing that said that's the 3rd most single game blocks in UNC history. Again, remember the front court last year. I'm so grateful for Van Allen Lubin and Jalen Withers and the guys that were masquerading as small ball 4s, even though they were 2s or 3s. But man, this is something fun, you guys. Those block, like the comfortability of guards to be able to actually guard a little more aggressively, knowing that all of that is waiting behind them. Man, sign me up if I'm a guard. Let's talk assists, because holy assists. Carolina assisted on the first, if my math is right, the first 12 field goals were all assisted. For the entirety of the first half, Carolina had 14 made field goals and 12 of them were assisted. In the second half, the breakdown, I think it wasn't quite as high a percentage. 9, it was still over 50% though. 9 assists on 16 field goals in the second half. For the game, Carolina had 21 assists on 30 made field goals. Let's find the math of that. 70%. Let's plug that into my season assist percentage and see what it spits out for us. finding. So for those of you that are not Locked on Tar Heels insiders, we have a whole Google Drive where I keep all of my stats with some of them, just nitty gritty stuff, all sorts of stuff like assist percentage, which I have all the way going back to 2020-21 season, broken down by game, assists, made field goals, all of that. You want to check it out? Come join us. For this season, oh my goodness. And let me remind you, in the Hubert Davis era, Carolina has never been over 54% for a season. And that was the outlier. The three most recent seasons, Carolina has not been over 51.4%. This year, as of right now, Carolina, in totality, not just tonight, has assisted on 61.5% of their field goals. That's better than a lot of Roy Williams teams, you guys. Is that going to carry on? I don't know. It's still a small sample size, but I will say this. In 3 of Carolina's 4 games, albeit the 3 bye games, so again, there's your grain of salt, the Tar Heels have assisted on over 60%, on 60% or better, I should say, on all 3 of those games. And even the Kansas game was 47%, so that's nothing to sniff at either. This is an absurdity. And oh, by the way, let me say this right now. Hey, where's my Kyan Evans can't be Carolina's point guard crowd? Where are you at? Hands up, all of you. Look at this stat line tonight. Kyan Evans, just 3 points on Tuesday against Radford. 7 tonight, 2 of 5 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, perfect at the free throw line, 3 rebounds. Okay, great. Would you like him to score a little bit more? Maybe so. But you know what I love that he's doing? I'm sitting here looking at 4 other Tar Heels who were in double figures, a couple others who had 9. While Kyan Evans, you ready for this? Dished out 7 assists to 1 turnover, picked up just 2 fouls, and was plus 34 in 27 minutes. That was the second highest plus minus behind only Luka Bogovats's, you ready for this? Plus 39. Kyan Evans is consistent. He is even keel. He's not getting into foul trouble. He's not committing a bunch of turnovers. Like for the season, let me remind myself here on Kyan's season-long stuff. Kyan Evans, for the season thus far, coming into the game, had 13 assists and 6 turnovers. So that means that now he's got 20 assists and 7 turnovers. That assist to turnover ratio is 2.86 to 1. I'll take it, man. I will take that all the time. And with the scoring, the shooting that he brings to the table as well, my man, sign me up. And so I never did see any hands raised for all the Kyan Evans can't be Carolina's point guard crowd, because this dude is on it. Now, we got more to say about this basketball game. Way too many turnovers in the first half. Obviously, like one of them from Kyan Evans, but way too many in the first half. But I tell you what, Tar Heels cleaned it up in the second half. That's becoming a bit of a trend, though. We need to look at that and talk about it and look at the second half as well as Bogey. This dude's getting better and better and better and more comfortable. We'll look at that coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about DoorDash. It's almost the weekend, and actually it is the weekend now as we're into Saturday. It's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Look, just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, this player delivered when it mattered most. Got to break it down. And you guys, it's the joint Carolina front court. We talked about them a bunch in segment 1 there, but these guys just continue to deliver game after game after efficient game. I mean, it is crazy how well they've done. We've seen it against high majors. We've seen it against low and mid majors. I'm very curious to see when Carolina goes to like Rupp Arena. What's it going to look like then? How do Veesaar and Wilson do? Man, I don't know. But these guys continue to deliver. When the pressure's on, they come through, no hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, you know that this performance isn't a fluke from either of these young men. And just like they both, Veesaar and Wilson, delivered for the Tar Heels, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you could win up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. So order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period only has a couple days left, so you want to get on it. Promo period runs through November 18th. Okay, as we come back together, I'm going to pull up the box score for those of you watching. If you're listening back later, what's up? Glad you're here. Go back and look at the box score. I've tweeted it and done other stuff. I also want to thank you for making Locked On Tar Heels your first listen or watch of the day every day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast. Great stuff there. North Carolina in the first half of this basketball game, 10 turnovers. And I know maybe that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like, I believe that's now 3 straight games with 10 exactly first half turnovers. The previous games, they've really curtailed it in the second half much better, and that's been great. But in the first half of this game, let's see who had all those turnovers. The main culprit was Jaron Stevenson with 3, 2 each for Veesaar and Bogovats, and a couple other people had 1. The thing is, though, while, yes, Carolina needs to clean that up, Carolina had those 10 turnovers. How many points did NC Central turn those into? 5 points. But what Carolina did in the second half is committed nary a turnover. I tell you, 0, none, not a zilch. That, my friends, is winning basketball. Because you know what's true? NC Central, or my mom, or your dog, or anybody else, if I commit 0 turnovers, you know how many points you can score off of 0 turnovers? Quick math and logic tells me 0. There's your answer. And Carolina has done, they did this last Friday against Kansas. Struggled in the first half with turnovers, and it was amazing what happened when they held on to the ball in the second half. And if I remember correctly, it was 1 turnover. Consequently, tonight, 39 points in the first half, 58 points in the second half. Again, very similar to what happened in that Kansas game. Hang on to the ball and do it in the first half. Now, the good news is that Carolina is not, I did a show on this earlier this week. Carolina is not getting themselves into the issue that they did last year, where they're like getting down by just massive holes they got to dig themselves out of in the first half. But there are some things that need to be cleaned up. Another part of it is that NC Central used some zone, similar to what Radford did, to slow down Carolina in the first half. And not that Carolina was inept to handle it. It's just that they're like, yeah, we're going to make you work harder. And then they would kind of dribble the air out of the basketball for a long time on the other end of the floor. So there's that. Once again, though, as part of that first half, Caleb Wilson scores Carolina's first points. It's the 3rd of 4 games where he scored the first points. He had a free throw, and then Luka Bogovats hit a 3, and that's the first 4 points of the game that came within 31 seconds of each other, which is crazy. But I mean, just really got a hammer on getting better at taking care of the basketball in the first 20 minutes of the basketball game. Once they do it, like, it's just little stuff like that that needs to be cleaned up. It's not massive glaring holes like we had so much last year. Another thing that's starting to really come along is Luka Bogovats. This young man, I can say young man because I'm an old man, he led Carolina in scoring the other night. He's the 2nd leading scorer in this game, 13 points. And listen to this efficiency starting to get better and better. 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. That's 40%. Perfect 3 of 3 at the free throw line. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turns. All right, fine. But again, team leading plus 39. He makes winning plays. I love, too, that even though, like, starting to hit a little better from beyond the arc, it was in the second half. He catches the ball on the right wing, right out in front of Carolina's bench, pump fakes, attacks the closeout, finishes at the rim, gets fouled, makes the free throw. I love that. And when he like Luka, while he's not this uber athlete, man, he can get to the rim and he can finish. And if not, he's over 80% as a career free throw shooter. There's so much that he brings to the table that is winning basketball. And that is going to continue to be critically important this season. One of the other, couple other things I want to look at, I had made a note for myself to look at fast break points, because at one point, Carolina was leading fast break points 13-0. And in fact, that is the final. Carolina allowed 0 transition points for NC Central, who, to be fair, weren't trying to get a whole bunch of transition points. Let's see what their tempo is on the season. Carolina, by the way, 25th in adjusted tempo at KenPom. NC Central is 291st. So they're not trying to necessarily get out and run, but still, no transition points allowed, man. I can take that and run with it all day long. So Carolina, great stuff there. Outscores NC Central 13-0 on fast break points. Let's look at the rebounding as well. Carolina dominates this by over 20, plus 21 in rebounding action. Let's see how many. 12 offensive rebounds, so not quite as many as they had been getting. That's okay. We'll take that. And I think the last thing I want to hit here before we do one more ad read and then get to your questions and observations is in the what to watch for this game. One of the things I had mentioned was, hey, Carolina's got to start shooting better. Coming into this game, the Tar Heels were under 30% as a team from beyond the arc, 29.9. So I guess you round up, fine, whatever. But they were like 290 something in the nation in 3-point percentage coming into this game. I can even scroll back and find it. 229th. That's not good. And in the first half of this basketball game, the Tar Heels were 3 of 11, which is 27.3%. It's like, oh my gosh, that's worse. I need threes to go down for this team. They've got to start seeing it go through the nets. And then they found it in the second half. 8 of 17 in the second half. That's 47%. The main dude that was filling it up was Derek Dixon. He was 3 of 4 in the second half from beyond the arc. A lot of it was, I need to go back and look. He and Kyan Evans were playing together. And what I'm saying I need to go back and look at is that the first minutes they've played together this season? I need to go back and check all my lineup data that we've got to see, but I believe that might be the case. And so again, this was an opportunity to try out those kind of things. And I said was going to, holy cow, in the second half, Carolina was 1.758 points per possession. I'm assuming it was a lot lower. Yeah, just 1.182 in the first half. But for the game, Carolina 1.47 points per possession. That is crazy town. The last thing I will say, I lied. I apologize. You should all shun me and throw me out. No. The other thing that I loved about this game is so much opportunity to get the bench so many minutes. Nobody played more than 30 minutes. The most minutes played was Caleb Wilson's 29. But Zayden High, 14 minutes, 16 for Derek Dixon, 19 for JP, 6 each for JB, Jaden Young, Isaiah Dennis, and then 2 for the guys coming off the bench. All but 3 of the Tar Heels that played scored in this game. Jaden Young didn't score, Elijah Davis didn't score, and Ivan Matlekovich didn't score either. But really encouraging to see that. The vast majority of the main rotation guys all had at least 1 assist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Tar Heels. That's the starting 5 plus High, Brown, and Dixon all had an assist. The only regular that didn't have an assist. No. Jonathan Powell did. So all 9 of the guys that so far seem to be main rotation, obviously Seth not playing in this game, all had at least 1 assist in this game. Man, that is the stuff you dream of in a game. All right, guys, we got one more section to get to. I want to look at your comments, some observations, answer those, and see how we can move forward. And we're going to do that coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about our good friends at FanDuel. If I can scroll down and get to FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game, or maybe you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything, from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks and everything in between. Plus, you can combine it all into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. And it keeps getting exciting every game because you've always got something riding on the action. That's great. Tomorrow, as Carolina heads to Winston-Salem, the Tar Heels are 5.5-point underdogs at Wake. maybe you think Carolina's going to keep riding that momentum, the defense going to show up again, go ahead and get in on that action. How about ACC regular season champion odds in basketball? Carolina plus 1,000 has the third best odds there. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers just like you $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, we're going to keep the box score pulled up while we get to some observations and questions. Got to grab a drink, man. It's a long Friday. My voice is tired. Melinda Dolphin, what's up, Melinda? Always good to see you, sister. Glad you're here. Asks Isaac, what does Henry do that keeps him out of foul trouble? This is a great and very important question, by the way, because before I answer it, let me answer the sub question that is not being said here. Is one of the big worries coming into this season was, hey, what happens if Henri Veesaar either gets into foul trouble, gets banged up, gets hurt? Do you just go Caleb Wilson, Caleb Wilson, Jaren Stevenson in the front court? Do you see what you got with Zayden High or James Brown? Do you put Caleb at the 5 and just go kind of small 1 to 4? What do you do? And career high for Zayden High in this game, 11 points. Really good stuff. Congrats to Zayden on that. 5 of 6, by the way, at the free throw line. So he's getting there, drawing fouls. It's great stuff. That said, though, there's still moments. I loved how Anthony Pagnotta described it on Friday's show. He's like, he's the Energizer Bunny, but with one too many batteries, and you want to take one of them out. What an apt description. I love Zayden's energy, but he just needs to be able to still find ways to lock in better, to be able to, like, it just seems a little too out of control. I like the edge that he plays with. I like that it's always on red, just a little bit. But could you be a little less into red so that you're still playing well within team principles, not flying past something or other stuff? Some nice moves from Zayden tonight, right? And so you want to keep trying. And that's why it's so good to get these guys these minutes so that the staff can, yes, it's NC Central, but so that the staff can continue to evaluate. That said, Melinda's question is, Isaac, what does Henri Veesaar do that keeps him out of foul trouble? He's not reaching a ton. Like, the biggest issue so often for bigs is that they reach around. They aren't vertical when they go up to block a shot. You got to keep that verticality the second you come down at all. Ref's blowing his whistle. So what Henry does really well is uses his length all the way up. Also, he's using his feet instead of his hands, because when you start to use your hands to reach instead of moving to maintain position, that's when you get into foul trouble. And that's what Henry's been doing. And so he's just got to keep doing it. That's the thing. And it's nice because, one of the things I said was he's not going to be able to continue to play 35, 37 minutes a game. He had to against Radford because, right out of the gate, you lose Jaren Stevenson for half the first half. Caleb was in foul trouble, so it was needed. But nice. In this game, just 24 minutes for Henri Veesaar and wildly productive in those 24 minutes. Great stuff there. And so, Melinda, that would be my answer to that. That question. That's a great question to ask. All right, let's keep looking. I love the Caleb Wilson overreactions. Here's one for you. 05 race box. Caleb Wilson greater than LeBron James. This is actually factually correct. I don't know if you've looked at, no, I'm just kidding. That's what we're here for, man. Let's overreact to all of this. Tar Heel says, Caleb is our best freshman since Harrison Barnes. Tar Heel. Is Caleb better than Kobe White? I think he's better than Drake. I got to think through the freshman. He's better than Drake, which that's saying something. Better than Ian Jackson. Ian had his moments offensively, but those were spurts and the defense just wasn't there at all. Caleb's better than Cole Anthony. And Cole had that injury, and less talent around him than Caleb has, so that's a factor as well. I mean, yeah, you at least... that's in the conversation. I think it's either Kobe White or maybe you go back to Harrison Barnes. Gosh, I need to go back and look. And let's say this about this game too. Caleb with only 21 points and only 13 rebounds, only 3 assists, only 4 blocks. If this is a different game where he has to play more, this could easily have been a 30-point game for Caleb Wilson. Easily. He was having his way. People don't, it's crazy. He's so stinking good at basketball, you guys. It's so good. Derek Thiessen. Man, Derek, I'm so sorry. I got to get like a pronunciation because I never remember, and it drives me crazy because I want to get it right. But our guy Derek says, yes, Caleb Wilson is insane, but also Dixon looked great. He plays at a great pace, and his shot is money. A couple things here, Derek, that I love that you laid out. Yes, Derek Dixon looked great. And so when I say how important this game was to get those guys, that second unit, not the third string guys, like the true bench guys, but the second unit, to get them extended minutes, so critical. So again, Derek Dixon's line, 9 points in 16 minutes, 3 of 5 shooting, all of which were 3-point attempts, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. You ready for this? 0 turnovers. He was plus 20. So your two main ball handlers, Kyan Evans and Derek Dixon in this game, 10 assists, 1 turnover. Shut up. That is crazy good. And yes, to Derek's point, just like Kyan plays to the beat of his own, like to his own rhythm, Derek Dixon, he ain't going to let you rush him or speed him up. He doesn't seem phased by pressure. I'm like, I know he's not doing like massive things, but you don't need him to. You need him to facilitate. You need him to hit shots when he's open, not turn the ball over. Like, that's probably the most critical thing Derek Dixon's going to do as the backup one. Will we see more minutes with he and Evans together as we did tonight? Really good stuff, Derek. Thank you for pointing that out. The Nintendo Nerd is with us. Man, it's so good to see all our regulars in here. Love to have us all together. Nintendo Nerd says, Jaren, the most underrated player of the game, rebounded and defended like crazy. He did do that. And again, on an ankle that's not fully healthy. They said it on the broadcast, but yes, he did not practice Wednesday after the Radford game. Then obviously has gotten some time in on Thursday and today on Friday, and that's great. So Jaren, not a crazy statistical game, as Nintendo pointed out, 5 points, all of which, by the way, happened in like a 2-possession span, right? Because he hit that wing 3. Was that off Derek Dixon penetration? Like, it was a great possession. There was an offensive rebound. Yeah, that was the one where they moved it around. I thought Veesaar was going to take a top of the key 3. He kept kicking it. Somebody finally took the shot. Offensive rebound eventually comes to Dixon. He curls down the lane, draws all the attention, kicks to Stevenson on the wing for the 3. Stevenson blocks a shot on the other end, runs out, and Dixon has a pitch ahead to him for the transition layup. So that's 2 of Dixon's assists right there. Man, great stuff. Speaking of which, let me point out back-to-back assists that Kyan Evans had. He had that one alley-oop to Caleb where Caleb had to catch it with one hand, grab it with the other, and then dunk it. Then he had, and this is a Caleb thing, Caleb had that other one where it was like, it wasn't a dunk. He like threw it in from above. But right after that alley-oop to Caleb, Kyan had a really nice pitch ahead to somebody streaking. I can't remember who it was, forgive me, but really nice back-to-back assist for Evans there. So, man, encouraged by that. Anyway, Nintendo was talking about Jaren Stevenson. So 5 points, 1 of 4, 3 rebounds, an assist, 3 turnovers. Like to get that cleaned up, but 2 blocks and a steal in 21 minutes. And so Jaren, so similar to Leaky Black, so much of the defense that he does is going to go unnoticed unless you're watching the early prep that he does defensively to move, to shuffle his feet, kind of similar, Melinda, to what I said about Henri not fouling. That's why Jaren isn't picking up a bunch of fouls. He moves his feet really well. Literally didn't commit a foul in this basketball game, Jaren Stevenson. So yeah, Nintendo underrated the things he's doing. Joseph's recap, man, this is true, and I hate it, says, this team still misses Trimble's defense. That is 100% accurate. All things considered, though, Carolina played really good defense. Like, let's look at the numbers here for NC Central. For the game, 16 of 66. That means they missed 50 shots, 24.2%, 7 of 26 for 3, which is 26.9%, and had multiple droughts. I feel like they hardly scored down the stretch of the second half of this game, because they had 24 points at the half. When did they get up to? Yeah, man, they just didn't score much on the back end, and that's with the second unit in. So Carolina doing what they need to there, really encouraged by that. But yes, miss Trimble's defense. But again, this is going to cause everyone to have to figure out, how do we defend when we're Sethless, so that we're not relying on him and just like, all right, Seth, go do work, right? Like that's really, really important. Also missed, obviously, Seth's athleticism in transition. I think we saw that against Radford. We see it again tonight. As somebody else, Melinda says in the chat, we miss Trimble in every phase of the game, and that's absolutely true. Man, and Nintendo, as we're talking about Derek Dixon, Nintendo, it says, such a luxury to have a legit backup point guard who can also play some. Too, is what he's saying. Yeah, follows it up in another comment. Carolina has not had this in a while. Like you think back, man, to some of those like Nate Britt, to bring him off the bench for that national championship team, stuff like that is just so big. So, you guys, really good stuff there. Great to be together tonight. I know it's late, so we're going to go ahead and get out so we can, I've still got to, edit all this, get it up so that everybody can listen to it in the audio format as well. And it's time to get to bed because we got a football game to talk about tomorrow. Some other cool stuff. Women's field hockey won 2-1 today, beating St. Joe. So avenging that Final Four loss from last year. Important stuff there. And who's up next in the Elite Eight? Also at home, by the way. Duke beat Iowa. So Carolina, Duke, round 3. The Tar Heels have won each of the 2 previous matchups this season. And so that will be on Sunday at Karen Shelton Stadium. And so good stuff there. I haven't looked to see, I know women's soccer was in action today in the women's soccer tournament. And so that's good stuff as well. I'm curious to see how they did. I don't know because I haven't looked it up. And so we'll have to see what's going on there. Melinda says, hopefully everything is okay, Isaac. Yeah, everything's okay. It was a great Friday night. Just had a birthday party for my administrative assistant who we've worked together for over a decade. And just the lady, Melinda says we won 3-1. Is that accurate? The ladies beat Tennessee. Let's go. That's incredible. They got blanked by Tennessee 2-0 to start the season. That's so massive. I hope I'm interpreting what Melinda said correctly there. So anyway, yes, everything's okay. Just it was my administrative assistant's birthday. She's so near and dear to me. We've been together for over a decade working together. And so she obviously doesn't operate on the Tar Heel schedule like I do, although she kind of does because she works for me. But still, it was a great opportunity to be with them. And it's a good reminder for all of us. Celebrate your people. Be with your people. Like, my commitment is to this and to what we do, but there's times when you just need to pull away. You know what I mean? So thank you all for your patience and allowing me to go do that. No hesitation after the football game tomorrow. We'll go live right after that is over. You guys, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. Don't forget to subscribe to all the stuff, the Discord, YouTube, audio. Be a Locked On Tar Heels insider. You get all of my data and stats and stuff like that. Yes, do it right now. Woo, it's a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow after the football game, but until then, peace.